What is going on, my fellow investors, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Finance, where we talk about everything money related, including the stock and cryptocurrency markets, as well as going over some basic money managing skills. So, I'm coming at you today with a little bit of a break from our regularly scheduled Crow content because that's pretty much all I talk about on this channel, as it is my favorite project. However, there is one project in particular that I have been absolutely just throwing into my bag during this recent crash, and that is Hedera Hashgraph. And over the past couple of months, I have been doing a lot of research into this project, as I do see a lot of potential for the future. And given the opportunity that we've gotten during this crash, I have been taking this chance to build out a substantial position in this project. Actually, so much so that it is essentially almost at par with my two largest bags, which are Ethereum and Crow. And I am definitely interested in making Hbar equivalent to the amount of like money that I have in those projects, which should say something about how bullish I am on this project over the next 3 to 5 years. So I think first things first, it's really important that we talk about Hedera and what sets it apart from these other projects and why I'm so bullish on it. Okay, so Hedera claims to be the most sustainable enterprise grade public network for the decentralized economy, allowing businesses and individuals to create powerful decentralized apps. It's designed to be a fairer, more efficient system that eliminates some of the limitations that older blockchain based platforms like Bitcoin and Ethereum face, such as slow performance and instability. It was funded through an ICO, initial coin offering, in August 2018. They launched open access to their mainnet in 2019, and since then they have made tons and tons of moves. And obviously, their native token is Hbar, and Hbar is essentially the fuel that powers Hedera services such as the smart contracts, file storage, and transactions. And secondly, it has also helped you. It has also helped to use secure the Hashgraph network. Okay, so what sets the Hashgraph apart from regular blockchain technology? That's what we're going to take a look at first. And if we scroll down here, you can see that when we look at the transactions per second, Bitcoin, you were looking at 3 plus TPS. ETH, you were looking at 12 plus TPS. Hedera can go for 10,000 plus transactions per second. You got Bitcoin with an average fee of 22.50, Ethereum with an average fee of 19.50, Hedera with an average fee of a fraction of a cent. Transaction confirmation for Bitcoin takes 10 to 60 minutes. On Ethereum, it takes 10 to 20 seconds, and Hedera takes 3 to 5 seconds. And last but not least, the energy use per transaction, which has been a growing debate in the coming months, sort of surrounding like the energy efficiency of cryptocurrency. And you can see that Bitcoin per transaction here is using 885 plus kilowatts, Ethereum using 102 plus kilowatts, and Hbar not even using a quarter of a full kilowatt. Okay, so clearly we can see that the hash graph is much, much more efficient than these previous networks. And we're going to kind of take a look at why. Okay, so this is the big diagram here that I like to use, and it really does help sort of like make sense of why the hash graph is faster. You can see them using like just a classic SUV as the blockchain, and then the Tangle as a Tesla, and then the hash graph. We got some super fast race car over here, basically trying to demonstrate the point that the hash graph is the most efficient and quickest of these three. Okay, and if we just go ahead and keep going here, we can see why actually that these blockchains are less efficient. And it's because of something that Vitalik Buterin likes to call the blockchain trilemma, where essentially you have three main goals you want to accomplish with the blockchain, which is scalability, security, and decentralization. However, these typical blockchains are not able to actually pick all three. They have to prioritize two of these three, which is why it is a trilemma. And obviously, they have chosen to go with security and decentralization as the most important of the three. And that means that scalability gets thrown out the window, okay? So they basically, the developers of these private blockchains refuse to decentralize in favor of speed. and these systems are not scalable. And this is a big issue with regular blockchain. And this honestly reminds me of this meme right here. This college, you can only choose two: good grades, a social life, or enough sleep. Make your choice. That is essentially the same thing as this blockchain trilemma, and then Hedera is able to solve the scalability issue. So if we go ahead and take a look at how it works and why the hash graph is so much more efficient than the public blockchain, they explain that Hedera is the only public ledger that uses a hash graph consensus, a faster, more secure alternative to blockchain consensus mechanisms. The hash graph created by Lehman Baird, who is Hedera's co-founder and chief scientist, who has a lot of great things to actually say about this company. And we're going to play a little clip later of some officials talking. Basically, they work to efficiently verify transactions and ensure the highest standard of security to prevent any hacks. They achieve a high throughput with 10,000 plus transactions per second and low latency finality in seconds. Once consensus is reached, the transaction is immutable and available on the public ledger for everyone to transparently see. Okay, and so if we go ahead here and look at the governing council, yes. So Hedera Governing Council votes to purchase Hashgraph IP and commits to open source, the world's most advanced distributed ledger technology. Okay. So what this is saying here is the Hedera Governing Council actually voted to purchase the intellectual property rights to the hash graph, meaning that Hedera now owns the rights to the hash graph, which is huge. And it was previously owned by Swirlds Inc., who actually is on the governing council of Hedera. If we take a look at their governing council, and Hedera has now acquired the patenting rights to this technology, but they are not choosing to keep it private. They are choosing to make it open source so that people can build out on the hash graph. So effectively, we're talking about, everyone's so caught up right now in the blockchain as being the next and greatest thing. And Hedera is already looking at the hash graph as essentially the blockchain 2.0. So that's why I'm so bullish on Hedera, and that's why I think over the long run that Hedera will be built out on very often because of the scalability and the efficiency of the hash graph. Okay. So if we also look at their governing council here, you can clearly see we have some big players running these nodes. Okay. So their newest council member is ServiceNow, but if we look at some of their existing council members, we have Boeing, we have Chainlink, Dutch Telecom, Google, IBM, ServiceNow, as mentioned, Swirlds, who did sell them the Hashgraph technology, and you can just see there are some heavy hitters on this governing council, and effectively this governing council does they're basically helping with network innovation, stability, and the continued decentralization of this platform. And moving forward, basically, Hedera is talking about moving away from actually a typical corporate structure with a CEO, and actually leaving all decisions on the governing council to ensure fair responsibility. Okay, so we're going to watch this 2-minute video that kind of goes over what they have coming up in 2022 in a second, and I'll explain that better. But the first thing I want to look at here, another huge application for Hedera, is actually their NFT and gaming platforms, which will be coming. Okay, so Hedera is very aware that online gaming has taken the world by storm, and they basically say that they bring speed, trust, and fairness for in-game events such as scoring and player status, and creating or transferring digital assets to enable the next gen of online play, meaning NFTs. So Hedera is hopping right into the metaverse, and they state they're going to do this by building fairness into games. They say using decentralized infrastructure for gaming restores trust. Instead of games taking place on a single gaming server, the location of characters, digital assets, and even certain game logics are stored on the distributed ledger, meaning there is no single entity or player who has the power to shut down or corrupt a game or modify any player's digital belongings. So Hedera is making big moves in the metaverse and NFT space by offering digital asset ownership, ranking and scoreboard system, which is important for any competitive esport kind of game, virtual currencies for these games, which we will probably most definitely be able to exchange for NFTs, And yeah, they are just acknowledging that it is a high stake environment, and they are offering the scalability and low cost to record and validate player transactions and remove the possibility of cheating or fraud. And if you guys have watched my previous videos on Gala Games, you know that I am incredibly bullish on the blockchain gaming industry, and Hedera is absolutely aware of this opportunity. Okay, so now we're going to take a look. We're going to just watch the first half of this video.
And we're dissolving the office of CEO and the office of CTO in Hedera Hashgraph. So Hedera will never have, as far as I know, will never have another CEO or CTO. The council is making all those decisions. So it is weird, right? I mean, it is a totally different mindset and than what one is used to, certainly what VC have been used to, and normal business practices of growing a SaaS, a SaaS startup or whatever. We've started from the beginning knowing that we were going to decentralize the operations entirely and put ourselves out of a job, and that's success, right? That is definitionally success.
Okay, so the first thing he talks about there that was mentioned previously is that they are moving away from regular corporate structure and actually putting the power in these governing node and these oh my goodness, sorry, these governing node members, okay, these council members. And as you can see right now, there are 25 spots filled with 13 left to go with a total of 39 nodes. And once again, I mean, like I've already spoken in previous videos about Google making big moves to get into the crypto ecosystem. And you can bet that if they are on this governing council, that they are most likely going to be making these moves through Hedera. Okay, I don't see any other reason for Google to actually be on this governing council if they did not see the importance of this technology moving forward. Um, and then here's like a more official version of their roadmap, which you guys can review if you want. It talks about smart contracts and DeFi, but honestly, this tweet just pretty much summarizes it the best. So, Hedera to be open source, as we talked about, they did purchase the intellectual property rights to the hash graph, but they are not going to keep it private with Swirls. They are going to open source it so people can build out on it. Decentralized governance, CEO and corporate structure roles abolished, moving from beta to final code, staking soon. So we will be able to stake to help secure the network and receive Hbar. Super excited for that. I will be staking with Hedera as soon as that option comes out. DeFi soon, Metaverse soon, new governing council members soon, and bridging. So clearly they are making huge moves going into 2022. And honestly, they already have this beginner's advantage, in my opinion. And what they are going to do is now build out on that, right? And it's like the same way that everyone talks about, oh, how Ethereum is the best because it had beginner advantage. Well, guess what? Now we were talking blockchain. Now we're talking blockchain 2.0 and the hash graph. And Hedera has beginner advantage. They have the patent and they have beginner advantage in this area. So that is why I'm so bullish on Hbar for the long term, as we do start to even find more effective alternatives to even the blockchain, okay? And I guess the next question would be, with all these ambitions, do they have the money to fund this ecosystem? And the answer is yes, okay? They have more than enough money in their growth fund. And I mean, you guys can look at some of these like Binance Smart Chain, huge ecosystem with only 1 bill worth of funding. Algorand 300 mil, Phantom 220 mil, AVAX 180 mil, Harmony 300 mil, Polkadot 774 mil, near 800 mil of funding, Hbar $5 billion worth of funding. Okay, if there's one thing I always like to do on this channel, and just personally, is to always follow big money, guys. Big money knows what they're doing, and the matter of fact is, even if they didn't, they still have that sway on the market because they are big money. Okay, their money means way more being invested into these companies than mine or yours does. So look at where the big money is planting their money into. Okay, Hbar also has a lot of like outspoken supporters, like Kevin O'Leary, who has disclosed a position in his crypto portfolio in Hbar, and he has spoken about how incredibly bullish he is on the platform. So what we have in Hbar is we have beginner's advantage in hashgraph technology. We have a huge year coming up in 2022 with big things coming like staking, DeFi, Metaverse, NFTs, and we have a massive growth fund to work with, okay? And last but not least, I'm going to just give you guys a quick technical breakdown on Hbar as I am done really going over the fundamentals and why I'm so bullish on the project. And if we take a look at Hbar right now, it's actually sitting right under this support that we have at 22 cents. We're at about 21.5 cents. You can see here that we actually have broken down below this uptrending channel that we started at the beginning of last year. We bounced off of it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. On this 5th time here that we did bounce off of it, this is when I started accumulating my Hbar. It came all the way up, got rejected from this downtrending channel, which has acted as really strong resistance, like multiple times as we came down from this all-time high. And yeah, we did actually break below our upper trend line. So now what we are actually looking for is we are looking for Hedera to either break above 22 cents and try to come up and reclaim this trend. And if we did this, this would look incredibly bullish because this would actually have a few breakouts. This would not just involve one breakout. And when you see a breakout on not just one but multiple technical patterns, it usually is just stronger indication of like a more solid breakout. So what I mean by that is you can see here that if we did hold this 22 cent line and came back up to 26 cents, we would be breaking above and respecting our upper trend line, as well as breaking out of our downtrending channel and breaking out of a previous area of strong resistance. And if that movement to the upside continues, if we were able to get back up to that 40 cent mark, we would then be above all moving averages. So that would be our move to the upside. And then our move to the downside would be obviously if we came to retest this downtrending channel and got rejected, we could definitely come back down to retest 20 cents. And if 20 cents fails, I think that we could see 15 cents. I do not think it's off the table at all for us to see one more dump in the crypto market to shake some more weak hands before we rip. And if that's the case, I would not be surprised to see Hbar come back down to 15 cents on the downside. And if that did happen, this would be an area where I do deploy some extra cash outside of my regular monthly DCA to buy some more Hbar on sale, okay? So whether this project goes up, down, left, right, 360, all around, I don't care. I am buying on a monthly basis. However, if we see those juicier prices, I just have more cash aside to add more substantially to my bag during fire sales. And I really like this 15 cent level because as you can see, the first time we broke out of that 15 cent level, we basically 3x. We went on to 3x to 45 cents. The second time we broke out of that 15 cent level, we had a nice double bottom. And then we actually proceeded to like quadruple up to almost 60 cents. So if we did come back down to this 15 cent level again and potentially triple bottom or even form another double bottom over here before we rip, that would still be incredibly bullish. So honestly, whether we go up or down, I will be accumulating the whole way. But if we do see 15 cents, I will be adding more substantially to my position. So with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new about Hbar. If you were wondering sort of like what it's all about and why people are, why we have an Hbarbarian community as well. That is why, guys, because the project does have a lot of potential, in my opinion. And this is not financial advice, but just sharing my findings with you guys. And again, if you have any questions, I mean, I know this was like a really long video, and I'm honestly sick of hearing myself talk, so I'm going to stop. But if you guys have any questions, as always, throw them in the comments down below, and I will get back to all of you, just like I have in all of my other videos. So with that said, guys, happy Sunday. Hope you are enjoying it with some friends and family, some loved ones. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.